Hey everybody, got another video here for you. Okay, got the number 1 and number 6 strings on now, and I went ahead and adjusted the neck alignment with the 2 bolts there and the 4mm Allen, and everything's looking all nice and straight here. Gives you an idea of where we're at. So yeah, looking good. And these 2 strings are tuned up. I haven't checked the intonation on number 1 yet, but it's I adjusted the saddle position before I put the string in, so it should be. Since number 6 was spot on, this number 1's probably pretty good too. I'm going to go ahead and finish putting on the rest of the strings now. Well, I've had a bit of a snag here. Number 2 doesn't want to lock up. You crank it all the way down and it still moves. And number 1 came loose, and it's probably not going to lock up again. I probably just got lucky and pinched it at the corner or something. I'm guessing that like these aren't drilled and tapped deep enough to go all the way to the bottom of these holes that they intersect with, the holes that go this way. So like a little spacer underneath it would probably do the job. Question is, can I find something small enough? I was thinking maybe a little bit of mechanics wire or something, maybe some guitar string or something like that. Yeah, on this set, number 2 string's a 9, and I actually tried looping it through twice. I mean, sending it through and then looping it through again, so there's 2 pieces of it going through the hole, and even that didn't work. I'm still hunting around. I've measured the thing, and it's coming out at like 2.85. So I'm debating a toothpick, but I don't know. I haven't measured a toothpick yet to see how big it is. Also, a toothpick might clog things up, but then again, a piece of mechanics wire might too, because that's kind of soft and it might get stuck in there and never get it out. I don't know. Ah, what a pain. Guess I need to start making my own hardware. In general, I was thinking about this, and like this kind of a setup, and also a Steinberger nut. Stuff in general where you gotta pull it tight and then screw down an anchor. A string through at one end and locking tail tuners at the other. Definitely easier. But I still haven't been able to figure out how to do that and a trim. So yeah, the only way to do, no, because see, if you do a Floyd Rose, you're back to having to trim and cut and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. Plus you have the problem of the Floyd Rose doesn't have the built-in lock, the Steinberger hardtail lock. So, but anyway, back to this problem. One way to make this easier might be to just forget about the anchors and put 2 lock nuts in a row. Yeah, I guess one would have to go back here so that you can get the truss rod wrench in there still, but unless you had a long straight truss rod wrench, and then you could put them one right behind the other. But yeah, 2 lock nuts in a row might also work instead of these anchors. It'd probably be easier to deal with, except you've got to clamp down 2 strings at one time. Well, I tried just about everything, and I can't get this 7 gauge or this 9 gauge to really lock down. I tried putting toothpick into the place where the grub screw goes. I tried putting mechanics wire in there, and neither of those worked. A ball bearing might work. Like a maybe a 2mm ball bearing, something like that. I tried putting number 6 string, piece of number 6 string through this way alongside these guys or underneath or over top or whatever. That didn't work. I tried putting a toothpick in this way, and I was able to get it all the way through actually, and that didn't work. And I tried mechanics wire going through this way, and that didn't work either. So at that point I gave up and jumped on Amazon and started looking for different kinds of anchors. And I found 3 different kinds to try out, and they're all on the way. In the meantime, I think this lock nut is good enough because of the fact that this is only a set of 7s, so it's probably not even 75 pounds of tension altogether. And I think it's good enough to hold these 2 strings without these anchors being really doing their job. So I might be able to get it to hold tune anyway, even without these anchors really working. And other than that, I can either wait for the new parts to show up and hope they work, or I can take these things off and put a second lock nut up here maybe, or something like that. But I think what I'll do, I'll start by seeing if I can get this thing to hold tune just with the lock nut. Well, it's been at tuning tension for overnight at least, if not 24 hours, with just this lock holding the number 1 and 2 strings on at the top end here. And it's still holding tune. So, but the new parts will be here tomorrow, so I think I'm just going to wait. And, yeah, I'm just going to wait. Because while this alone seems to be doing the job, long term I don't trust it. 2 of these, back to back, sure, no problem. I mean, obviously, if 1 will do it, then 2, you're in the house. Double redundancy. But just this alone, I wouldn't trust long term necessarily. It also it was also an awful lot of work in order to get this thing tight, because I had to pull on both strings at the same time and tighten it down all at once. So it was really a 3-handed job basically, and so it took a lot of futzing in order to get both strings in the pliers at just the right length, so that when I pulled on the pliers I got both of them to pull tight, and then was able to clamp down the lock with the other hand. So yeah, the parts will be here tomorrow, and I think I'm just going to wait, because, other than that, you're only looking at basically, I guess, a sound demo. Well, no, I did also notice that action's looking a little bit high. I think I'm going to give it a little shot of neck shim here too as well. So, guitar parts delivered to your door on a Sunday. How cool is that? Yeah, so this is one of the 3 sets of nuts that are, alternate string anchor options that I ordered up. There's one of these, there's a diagonal one, but it's for fan fret, and I suspect that it's diagonal in the wrong direction, if you know what I mean. I need something that, if it's going to be diagonal, it's got to be diagonal going this way. And the nut that I got, I think, is diagonal going the other way. I don't know. Some of the photos were left, some were right. You know how it is. They get the photos flipped left to right by accident, and so, yeah, it's hard to tell what you're buying online sometimes. So anyway, I ordered up 1 diagonal one, 1 straight one, and then they also had anchors that were similar to this, but they were all like boxy and square instead of your typical slope thingy. And so I was thinking to give them a shot and see if they had the same not closing, clamping down all the way issues that these guys have. So, but this is the one that I was really had the most hope for, because this one, you know, it sure looks like it ought to work, assuming I can fit it in there somewhere. But yeah, I guess it'll fit. Get it like right at the top end of the truss rod hole or something. But yeah, so, okay, so got string anchors that hopefully will work. Need a little bit of shim here, probably at about, oh gosh, should I even bother guessing? I'll just let you look at it and let you guess. How about that? Come on, stand down. There we go. Down, 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 down. Yeah, there, yeah. Kind of big, I'd say. Ooh. It's got to be 3-4 mil, probably. So, yeah. Fortunately, I've got the 1 mil shim material now, so that should make life a lot easier. If you saw on, I guess it was the diamond build, when I was cutting up the purple neck shims, and I cut up like half a dozen of them right quick. Yeah, that way I can have like, I can do that with the same idea with some black material. What I did is I came up with a size for a shim that looks like it ought to be pretty useful for both necks and for pickups. And then you could, you know, cut it down as needed. And I figured I'd just like zap out half a dozen of those, of that size, in like 1 mil, 2 mil, 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, and 3 millimeter thick. So, but yeah, this shouldn't be much of a project now that I've got the 1 mil shim material, or 1 millimeter. I say mil, but I mean millimeter. But anyway, yeah, so let me get cracking on that. Right now I'm in the middle of a total war battle, so give me a minute. Okay, so I'm checking it out here. It's big and it's beefy. This thing's got to be steel, if not lead. It's heavy. And so the very first question is does it actually go like all the way down and clamp? So, putting a light at the back end. Okay, let's see if I can get the camera to pick this up. Okay, you can see the light through those two holes. Those are not clamped down. This one on the end is clamped down, and we've got light in these holes over here and no light whatsoever there. It is absolutely dark. There we go. At that angle you can see, I think, yeah, there. Now you can see those holes and not that hole. Yeah, so this thing actually clamps all the way down, and it should work. And in case you're wondering, it's a Geiger part. And I don't know, it's around $10, I want to say, something like that, on Amazon, and it's like 2-day delivery or something. Not a bad deal, I suppose. Okay, got an anchor block that actually frickin' works here. So, time to get back to work. Checking the nut brake angle here. And yeah, the back end of the string moves ever so slightly if I press on it. But over here in the center there's no motion, so this isn't going to affect tuning. Besides, you lock it down and then you tune it, so it's not going to be an issue. The tuners aren't on this end, they're on that end. So, sufficient nut brake angle. Okay, so I now have working string anchors. Wait a sec, let me turn this thing off soon. Oh, that's zoom. Come on, come on. Stupid thing. This way. There. Okay, so string anchors are working now, and as you saw, action is a bit high, probably at about 2.5 mil or something. And so, yeah, bit of shim. I think I'll try a 1 mil to start. So, take it all apart. The pickup came unglued. Have to put that back on, I guess. So this box contains all the cool parts. It's got stuff like EQs and sevens and Steinberger parts. That's the saddle right in there. And barrel tuner parts, to which I get to add another set of worthless anchors. But yeah, 1 mil thick 10 by 40 shims. You can use one underneath the neck in front of the first screw, or you can use two of them, one on like either end of a pickup. And it only uses like the quad rail. It's a 40 by 60 shim roughly, but you can use two 10s, 40 by 10s, and only you'd be using 20 mil instead of 60 mil worth of material. So yeah, 1/3. Yeah, so the 10 by 40 mil shim is the standard size that I came up with. And then, like on this, if it's sticking out some, you can always trim it with aviation shears. And slipping this in here, it is going to stick out a bit, so I'll trim it with the ab shears. So, action and footage and all that kind of good stuff is all fine and good, but occasionally it helps if I explain exactly why I'm doing things. If you're observing carefully, I didn't really torque these down too tight here, and it was so that I'd be able to do the neck alignment thing. I've got the number 6 string on, and it's looking almost perfect. So it's time to toss number 1 on and see what it's looking like. And then these are probably still loose enough that I can go ahead and nudge the neck if I need to, and then I'll torque it down. And torquing it down might actually get me a little bit more action, and I'm at like probably 1 mil action. This is lower than I usually go. I mean, I've set up 1 or 2 guitars, new builds this way, and it's been okay. And the thing's not buzzing, so at least it's not buzzing up here, and it's flat, so it shouldn't buzz any place, really. Actually, I suppose that down here would be the real test. If it buzzes when you fret the 1st, because that should be the Okay, I think that's going to do it for this video. So until the next one, everybody, have a good one.